Welcome, everybody, to Saves Together, the podcast about playing games together, whether that means co-op or passing the controller back and forth or just playing the same game at the same time. It doesn't matter how, it only matters that it's together because
When you save together, you stay together.
I'm Craig McGowan.
I'm Grace N.
Hey, Grayson.
I'm
That's
Grace
Grayson.
Novak. I didn't want to say my whole last name.
We've done it for 65 episodes before this.
Well, maybe they forgot.
This is episode 66, and today we're talking about Operation Tango. But before we get
It's
to
not
that,
about dancing though. It's a little. There's no dancing.
what's the tango? Where's the tango come in?
I guess it's a
Is it-
metaphor.
It's a metaphorical tango of
Yeah.
espionage.
I do wish there was a little more of.
Tango.
I wish there was some real tango in it. Just for a moment.
But we're not talking about that yet. We're talking about what we've been playing in our solo times by ourselves. So, Grayson, what have you been talking about?
Well, what have I been talking about?
I mean, what have you been playing?
I recently finished Monster Hunter Stories 2.
How was that?
Well,
Oh no.
it was good.
Oh?
It was just a little too long, but I really liked
Isn't
it.
that every game? Is that
Yeah.
You know what? You know what we should do?
Yeah.
We need to start a list of games that were the right length. And
Yeah.
it doesn't mean that the ones that aren't on the list are bad, but it's just like, hey, this game was the right length.
Some long games are the
right
right
length. Yeah. I would
It's rare
say
though.
Yakuza generally. Some
No.
of them. Some of them.
It feels like
Mm.
feels like every time you played one, you're like, I wish it was over.
But I still then love it. It brings it back around. This is what's tricky about these games. So did Monster Hunter Stories do this, where it's like the last eighth is not great because you're rushing because you want to be done, but then it's still a good ending. So you still leave on high notes. You know what I mean?
I just think, I mean, I don't know about an eighth. I don't know if I can even quantify it, but it just feels like the steam definitely runs out at some point, and you're like, well, it would be nice if this had been done, but I can see it through to the ending, and it wasn't that bad. Like as far as long games go, this one is really not that long. When I looked up time to beat, other people were saying it took them 40 hours to do just the main story. It took me 60, but then I was also spending a lot of time at the beginning clearing out the maps and doing a bunch of side quests and getting all the rare monster dens. So there you go. I was doing extra stuff, but I really liked it. And if you like Pokemon, you'll really like it because it's very much like a Pokemon style RPG. And I enjoyed that part of it a lot. And I feel like it was really well balanced. And there's so many like different, they call them monsties, which is just like baby
Blech.
versions of the monsters of Monster Hunter that you all know if you've played a Monster Hunter game. But I like that it really encouraged me, or I felt encouraged to change my team a lot, which I didn't do so much in Pokemon. Like, I feel like Pokemon
Right.
has a problem where once you pick your six, at least this is how I play, I'm kind of set.
No, I think that's a major problem. That's kind of why
Yeah.
Nuzlockes are around. You know? 'Cause-
Right.
And also, I mean, I don't know if you got this detailed into this game, but another problem with Pokemon is generally there's like the best fire type, the best ice
Right.
for the game itself, for the meta, whatever, different story. But
Yeah, I
You
feel
know?
like in Monster Hunter Stories 2, it does a much better job at everything seems pretty viable. I mean, obviously, like there are the bigger guys, like there ends up being guys that are like I ended up using, I think my final team was like a Tigrex, an Anjanath, which is that, T-Rex one. I had the red Kezu. So there's like variations on colors, which felt like shinies, but it was just sort of like more rare variations. There was a green Narcacuga,
whoa,
which
how
was
green?
really
Like
cool.
lime green?
Looked like he had moss on him. It was kind
Ah.
of interesting. Like he was like a jungle Narcacuga.
That's cool.
So yeah, I really liked that, and they all felt like trainable enough that I wasn't super struggling, but there were definitely some that became my favorite. But either way, even by the end of the game, I was changing them out, and there's really quick ways to level them so you don't feel like they're like super far behind.
That's cool.
So I had a lot of fun with it, and I also got to try out the co-op mode,
That's what I was just gonna ask.
which you do need a separate game for. There's no local co-op mode. So I tried the online version because there was this event going on in conjunction with Monster Hunter Rise where you could get a Palamute as a Monstie, and so I was like, oh, I want to
wait.
do that
Wait. Oh no, in this game.
in this game.
I don't need to turn it on to go get something for Rise, right?
I don't know. I'm not keeping track of, there's so many like extra new things in Rise, but either way, I got the ticket to like do this with in-game currency, and so I just popped into a random person. I made my own random room, and then a Japanese player popped into my game, and it took like 15 minutes to do. And yeah, it just wasn't the best experience, mostly because the loading times in between battles are kind of slow. And in general, I feel like a turn based co op game is hard to get right. You know, like
Well,
Divinity, I feel like works because part of it is being local and being able to talk about
uh,
what you're doing.
Pokemon max raid battles are a blast. That's
Yeah.
like the most fun I had in Sword and Shield.
Yeah, that's true.
And
But
I
I
think
feel
that
like
this
those are a
game,
little more fast paced.
well, yeah. So the reason we didn't do this as an episode
Monster
is
Hunter Stories too.
Monster Hunter Stories 2.
Well, part of it is because we don't really enjoy getting two copies of things in general. It
I don't mind
depends
doing
on the
that.
game for me.
We did it
Like,
for Monster Hunter, so.
right, but because we knew we liked Monster Hunter
But
World.
so the moment I saw the co-op trailer, I said, "Oh, never mind. I don't want to do this." I saw like someone like the Capcom or somebody was demonstrating how the co-op works, and it's like a lot of pausing and waiting and connecting.
Yeah.
And for it to be related to Monster Hunter, which we heralded as like incredible online experience, to then
Mhm.
see this like laggy, it's not lag so much, but like
It's just a lot of loading.
delayed loading thing is like, what? I don't want to do this.
Yeah, and
And
it,
it's
it
not, it's
makes
just like
sense.
side stuff too. It's not a full, there's no story, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, similarly to Monster Hunter Rise. Well, actually not really, but Monster Hunter Rise has less of a story than this game does. This game
Right.
feels like a single player experience. It
Yeah.
doesn't feel like, unlike Monster Hunter Rise, it doesn't feel like it was made to be multiplayer. But you can do it. So there you go. That's my little co-op review of that. I don't think it's the way to play that game. I just really don't. And like you said, you can't go through the story together. But it's a really fun game if you like Pokemon or Monster Hunter, want to try something new. I played the first for a little bit and I did not enjoy it very much. It
I
didn't
played a
like
lot of the first one and then,
yeah.
yeah, I don't know,
It
it
seems
fell
like
off.
they've added a lot to it in the second one. So that's good. I don't think you could have a team of 6 in the first one, right? Cuz that's the team I had.
I really don't remember. I'm not gonna lie. Here's what I remember
I
of
don't
the
remember
first one.
either.
I wore whatever armor I was wearing. It had a top hat and like a long tail tuxedo, and
Mhm.
it was the best armor I could wear for like a couple of hours, and I felt like a doofus, and I didn't want to play it because of that.
I like how in Monster Hunter Stories 2, you can switch between 3 weapons at all times. I really enjoyed the combat is really fun. Like you really you get into it, that's for sure.
That's good.
And the other game I started is the new Ace Attorney game, Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, which is like I'm a huge fan of that whole franchise, which I think I've mentioned before. So I was like, this is probably my most excited game of the year, probably. I don't know what else is coming this year, but I'm pretty sure it was. And it's great so far. I'm in the third case of the first game, and I'm really enjoying it. Like excellent writing. The animations are so charming and cute, and I already love all the characters.
What was
It's
the
great.
one that you were
They're
playing on 3DS?
so there's a couple on 3DS. There's Dual
The most
Destinies.
the most recent 3DS, I feel like, because it was
I feel
right
like
before
that's Dual
Switch came out.
Destinies, but I'm not sure. Those I feel like didn't stand out to me very
Well, I
much.
remember watching you play it. I vividly remember on the trains, look and watching you play and being astounded by the animations.
Yeah, the
And
animations are so good now.
I hold on, not astounded, but you were talking about I love the animations, and I looked at them like, well, yeah, they are good, but what? And now after having played the first game,
Yeah.
and like even those animations, I kind of get like attached to. Like it's fun to
It's funny,
see
right?
what they
Like
do to them, so I really get it.
it's hard
What
to explain to
now?
someone who hasn't played the
Yeah,
game how important like the animations are, but it's so much a part of the game and the characters because there's not it's mostly like still, but I mean now with these new games like it's so good. There's a
I've only
moment
watched about 60 seconds of this game, and
yeah,
I cannot wait to get to it.
it's so good
I'm gonna
so far.
finish Ace Attorney 1 and then
Yeah.
go back to 2 and 3 later, but jump to this when you're
Yeah,
done
I
with
want
it
to see
because
you
it
start
looks
it.
so awesome.
It's really good, and I'm really happy that the characters are so lovable because I had a hard time getting attached to Apollo Justice, who is in the later games, and there's even another new attorney, and they're good, but like I'm already in love with like everyone in this game, so that's great. Sherlock Holmes is a himbo. That's a choice that I appreciate, and it's really good. It's really good. I'm really enjoying it.
I Sherlock Holmes, clearly Sherlock Holmes. Um,
Clearly, yes.
I don't know if you picked up on that,
Yeah, I'm not sure if
but
you could figure that reference out.
I have been the universe is pointing so many signs at me that I should be rereading Sherlock
Do you
Holmes
know what's
books.
funny too is before I played this game, I started watching Moriarty, that
Yeah.
anime, and
Right.
it's really
So
good, by the
Moriarty,
way.
you've been talking about that, and
Yeah.
then like the hot Sherlock Holmes game was coming out, but then their trailer had some weird. We didn't talk about
Oh
this.
my god, I
Their
forgot about
trailer
that.
had a
No,
weird,
did we talk about it though?
inconsequential reference to the fact that you have to wear masks or be
Wait,
vaccinated.
I need to go. Wait a
Dude,
second. Wait, before you say what it is, I need to go back to that trailer on YouTube and look at the comments. Because remember, we could only find one comment that was pointing it
no, there's
out.
like 3 or 4. As I scrolled, there's more people talking about
It
it.
was just
I'm
like,
actually not gonna play that game. So I was gonna play it because it looked fine. I actually had never played a Sherlock Holmes game. This is like Sherlock Holmes, a young Sherlock Holmes adventure. But in the trailer, like 9-minute gameplay trailer, literally like a minute in, they're like, and Sherlock Holmes's world awaits you, and you don't even need to be vaccinated or something. Like it's actually worse than that because that sort of
I think it compared it to holding your hand.
yeah. And
Remember,
unlike
it was like,
vaccination, it doesn't hold your hand or something.
yeah, it
And it
was
was like,
really
wait a
weird.
minute, this game's not about being vaccinated.
It's
What the fuck are you talking
it was
about?
the strangest. Just
So
go look it up.
if
The new
anyone,
Sherlock Holmes game trailer, if
maybe
you're
they,
curious.
I'm sure it's still up somewhere. I was gonna say maybe someone like pointed out like you should take that out because I'm actually now not gonna buy or play your game. Like I understand it was probably supposed to be a joke, but if you're making jokes like that, you're not
Yeah.
the type of. I don't care what your feelings are on a vaccination. You don't. It had nothing to do with it, you know. So it's like now I just think you're stupid.
It was extremely bizarre.
You know, like fine, have your opinion on whatever,
So
but shut up.
going back to the Great
Sorry.
Ace
So,
Attorney.
anyways, I want to reread Sherlock Holmes books. I used to
Yeah.
read them a lot as a kid,
Yeah.
and I think I'm gonna do that. Do you want to have like a book club?
Sure.
I want to read a Sherlock Holmes book. Have you ever read one?
No, I have never have.
I remember reading like the Baskerville Hounds one.
I would definitely read them.
Anyways,
So
sorry.
this game I think is great, and also I want to say if you've never played an Ace Attorney game, I think this is a good starting point, frankly, because it's all new characters, so you
Here's the
don't need
thing,
to
though.
know the story. I
Yes.
do think it's like you kind of have to have a special interest, I would say, in like a little bit of well, either Sherlock Holmes stuff or it's historical, so it's taking place in Japan and London in that time period of Sherlock Holmes.
Looks
So
like
it's very much if you're into
1912-ish.
that like aesthetic and that time period
Y-
and mystery. I mean, I think it's great.
Does it give you did it give you a year? Because like I feel like Sherlock
Yes,
Holmes
it
was
did.
like 18s.
There's a lot of historical references as far as like the justice system and like how people treat each other, like the nationalities. So there's like clear trying to bring that history, like real life history into the game and like how in Japan I don't know if this is true, but I guess they didn't do like it took them a while to start doing autopsies before the West did. So like the first trial, you don't have the actual post-mortem results. They just only like check over the body like preliminarily. They don't actually do an autopsy.
Hmm.
So it's interesting. Like I was like, oh, that's like it turns like, history into gameplay kind of thing because then you know a little bit less of what actually happened.
Of the 60 seconds I watched, there was a guy with a katana.
Yes, right.
And I
There.
wonder if there's gonna be like a part where it's like, well, the samurai have these rules, but
Mhm.
these new Western type rules are different.
That's clearly definitely a dynamic
Yeah,
at the
cool.
very
That's
least.
exciting.
Yeah, I think you are really gonna like this game. I can already tell. And Sherlock reminds me of you because he's always trying to fight me, like actually physically fight me.
Uh, well,
It's funny. Anyway.
can I please have on the record that I don't try to hurt you?
Oh. Well, yeah, but you do try to physically fight me.
Wrestle. There's a word for it.
Oh yeah, it's not in a bad way. I could beat you up. Anyway,
You get the
what kind of games have you been playing?
Flight Simulator has plagued my existence for about a year because my computer is old and can't play it, and I just want to fly planes. And they had announced that it's coming to Xbox at the same time it was coming to PC. They didn't say it was coming out at the same time, but long story long, I waited a year and it's finally here and I can play it on my Xbox Series X. So I've been flying some planes. I've been learning how to fly a Cessna. I
Is it
don't know
running
which one.
okay?
It runs fine, yeah.
Oh,
It's
good.
a little laggy feeling, but it feels like it's loading a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and it is, so I kind of forgive it. It feels fine once I get there. It's very, very sensitive. It's hard to do with the thumbsticks.
Yeah.
And I heard rumor that there will be a like Xbox console flight wheel thing.
Really?
I could see myself maybe buying that.
I feel like you have to be really into the game. I mean, depends how much it is, right?
It depends how much it is and what its functions are.
Yeah.
Um, I'm also having difficulty adjusting the trim. I don't understand how to trim the airplane correctly. It doesn't seem to make it stay flat. That doesn't mean anything to anybody,
Means
Really?
something to
But
the
if someone's
airplane
listening to
people
this
out
who is
there.
a big airplane person, why like,
Did you Google
I
it?
understand how the trim works, but it doesn't ever seem to keep me going flat. I either go, I either elevate or de-elevate or whatever. That's fun, but I've not played too much of it yet. I feel like a session of Flight Simulator is
It's
it's almost
intense.
like school.
Right,
Yeah,
because 'cause you're learning how to
yeah.
fly a plane, right?
Um,
That's cool, though. It's cool to learn something like that with, a game. That's why, games are cool, man. We're learning stuff.
and then I started and retired from Pokemon Unite. So my career is over
Oh, are
in
you
Pokemon
officially
Unite.
done?
I'm officially retiring. I'm announcing that here. I'm gonna retire on top. I was I was a really good Snorlax,
Yeah.
but I realized that as people learn how the game's played and as teams work together, they're gonna get better.
Yeah, get out while
So
you're
I'm getting
good.
out while I was having fun and beating people, and I don't ever have to
Uh,
feel the crushing defeat of not knowing what I'm doing. I
Good
think
for
that game's
you.
fine. It was more fun than I expected. I'll say that. I'm not a big MOBA guy,
Yeah.
but they made it pretty fun actually.
Yeah, you kept asking me to play, and I was like, absolutely not.
Yeah, I think
I
you would
know what
have.
I'm
I think you
about.
would have gotten. I think we would have had fun doing a couple of games of it.
Maybe.
But
But
it's
you know
too
what?
late. I've retired, and
That's
you
okay.
won't
I
bring me
don't
back.
There's all kinds of ways to have fun. I just didn't wanna have fun in that way,
Yeah, but
you
I was
know?
best Snorlax in the world. You'll just never find out because
I believe you.
I don't play anymore.
I believe you.
So you want to challenge my Snorlax?
I
Too bad.
don't.
I retired.
I don't. You wish I wanted
Neo,
to.
The World Ends with You. I never played it on DS. That was a DS game, right? The World Ends with You.
Mhm.
I played the Switch version, and I'm sure we talked about it on here. And I didn't beat it. It was fine. I had fun, but I didn't need to beat it to get what I needed. I think the same thing's gonna happen with Neo, The World Ends with You. I've only played about an hour, and I'm having fun. And I'm gonna play a little bit more, but I don't. Nothing's compelling me forward, other than like it's kind of fun.
You know what's interesting? I feel like I give games so much more of a chance than you do
Oh,
as
I
far
don't.
as
Yeah.
waiting to see if it compels me. It's not bad or good. I think sometimes it does me more of a disservice because I do this with books too that I have to be better at. I mean, with books, it feels educational sometimes, but I've gotten better at being like, okay, no, nothing is keeping me going. But with games, I'll give them a lot of time before I give up. But I admire that about you. You really just say, no, not worth my time. And that's impressive. I am glad you kept going with Phoenix Wright because I was worried that would happen with Ace Attorney, and
No, I
that's,
like the game. I can tell when I'm not liking a game. I just think it's interesting.
yeah, which is
And so
fine.
when it's
It's just
interesting,
not
I
for
just
you,
like
you know?
to dip my toe in and go, "Oh, this is what this is."
Mhm.
That's why I play Call of Duty sometimes. That's why I will turn on FIFA or something that it's not really a Craig game and I'm not going to fall in love with it, but I just like to experience a wide variety of things, and this is another one of those where no, this is fine, I guess. It's I don't see anything terribly wrong with it,
Yeah.
but I just don't need to like I looked up the time to beat and it's like 50 hours.
I mean, it's
I could put
yeah,
those
of
50
course
hours
it
into
is.
learning how to make my Cessna do a backflip, so.
Yeah, it's all about priorities. I understand. I wanna, play Neo World Ends with You after Ace Attorney, so but
Yeah.
we'll see. I mean, I'm already on the 3rd case, so it doesn't seem too bad. The 2nd case surprised me because you didn't go to court.
Well, then that's not how is that?
But it was interesting because well, I think it was trying to be more like a Sherlock Holmes situation where you're solving the situation right in the place, and I actually really liked the difference there. So it was cool. It was a nice little change up. That's not really a spoiler. I'm just saying, like, I kept waiting to go to court, and I was like, wait, I think we're just doing it right here, right now.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, it was really fun. You're gonna like it. I really want to see you play it.
Yeah, I'll get to it soon. There's also I
You
feel like
could
there's
start it
something else.
today.
No, because I'm not gonna have time. But I feel like there's something else. Oh, well, I just want to play more Monster Hunter Rise, the
I know
Okami
you.
thing. I really
Here's
want
the
to.
thing. You keep saying it, and I go, okay, let's do it, and then you're like, no.
Well, we're gonna today.
I don't think we will today either.
We're gonna today because we're gonna wrap this one up
Do you
quick.
know what's annoying?
What?
Is that with Monster Hunter Rise, there's just like more of a setup that goes
That's
into
that.
it.
Yeah. So I might try to just do it handheld
Okay, I would do.
because for
Oh, I
us the
see. I
setup,
see.
what she's referring to really is the setup is we got to pull out the other TV. We don't have a two TV setup.
You could play it in the other room though.
Yeah, but it's
We don't really have to communicate that much for this game anyway.
I know,
Anyway, just thought.
but I think I'll just play handheld
But yeah, they put in Okami Amaterasu in there, and I love
as a like
Okami.
skin for your Palamute, right? That's what it is, right?
Yes, so cute.
Looks pretty cool. I don't even like Okami, but I
I need to
love
replay
this.
that game. I got the HD version for the PS. Oh
4,
God, at this I hope it was
3,
PS4.
it
It
might
might
have
be
been 3.
PS3. They should re-release it. I'll buy it again.
I believe it's on Switch. I don't know.
I don't want to play things on Switch anymore.
Yeah.
Not unless they're really
Speak about
developed for
that. Speak
Switch.
about that.
Speak about it?
Yeah.
I think we spoke
Tell the
about it
world.
during E3 a lot, the last
We might have.
episode.
That's
Yeah,
true.
we talked just, it's hard to trust an indie game at this point or a game that wasn't developed first party for Switch because it doesn't always run well. More often than not, I have problems. So obviously Ace Attorney's like butter smooth. That's great, but it was like created for Switch. So there
I'm
you
waiting
go.
on well, I want Tony Hawk's on Switch because I think that would be fun to have and just play a couple rounds like on the go. But I'm afraid that's not going to run well. I think it might. Thankfully, there's videos and reviews, and you can look it up.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the best part about the age we live in now with games. If
Right.
you're not sure how it runs, you could probably go watch it get played, just raw footage.
Like when you texted me yesterday and said, "Do you want Littlewood for Switch?" I took a couple minutes. I googled about it. It wasn't even googling about the game. I was like, "How does it run on Switch?" And
Yep.
it's fine because it's like even if it's Littlewood is a 2D top-down pixel game. It does not matter. Sometimes those games will not run on Switch, and I
mean,
just think there's
Cozy
a
Grove.
porting problem.
You started playing Cozy Grove, and even
Right.
that had some like hiccups, and
It's
maybe
not
it's not
necessarily
distracting,
the
but it's
Switch's problem, and I'm not also even blaming the developer, but there's clearly some sort of issue with
just a
porting to
power.
the
Yeah.
Switch.
I mean, it's just a
So
power issue in general. I think it's just
yeah,
a
but I also
older.
think like translation wise, because obviously Monster Hunter Rise is like this game that is huge and like it plays amazingly on the Switch. So it's not just power, it's like there's a translation problem. I don't know, code translation problems. I imagine if you code it for one specific thing, it's not always easy to just like then have to redo the whole thing for a different platform, I'm sure.
Right. So that's what we've been playing in our solo time. So let's get into the meat and potatoes of the episode. Talk about
Operation? Oh,
Tango.
Tango.
Operation Tango.
Let's Tango.
We are not on the same page. We would do terrible in this game. All right, here we go. Developed by Clever Plays and published by Clever Plays as well, Operation Tango was released on June 1st, 2021 for the Xbox One, the Xbox series of consoles, which
I hate saying that.
I mean, the Xbox Series S and X is not so bad either. I mean,
What do we have?
the Series X,
Oh, what was the one before?
the one.
Okay.
I don't care about that differentiation. It's just the series of
Look, the fact that I
consoles.
can't remember and I play a million games every day.
The
is bad.
PlayStation 4, the PlayStation 5, and PC. And we played on PS4. So we played on the last gen. We are like, ooh.
No, we didn't.
You did. You played on PS5. That's right. You played on PS5. I played on PS4.
So here's the thing. Here's the thing about this game. You had to buy it, right?
Nope, we got it for, well, it was on
No,
PlayStation
no.
Plus.
Here's the situation.
You
It's
have to buy
only on
one
PS
copy.
Plus. No, it's only on PS Plus for PS5. So, but we also figured out that you could, when you played co-op with the PS5 PS Plus game, you could invite a friend who doesn't have a copy. So as
Correct.
long as you
So
have
just
one
download
copy,
the demo,
yeah.
and then from the demo,
But you couldn't get
can invite
trophies,
me to a game.
and I got trophies.
That's fine.
I will say, no, you were upset about it
Well, I am.
at the time.
Right, but now I don't care.
Anyway, I just wanted to say we had some issues with setup because
I don't think
because there was some confusion.
Right. There definitely was confusion, but then when it revealed itself that it's free, the demo is free, and then I can play, and we don't need to buy 2 copies. I was excited.
I guess my point is the information out there was not helpful. It was hard to figure that out,
But
and I was confused why it was
From
so hard
this
to figure that
episode,
out.
when episode's out, it won't be free on PlayStation 5, so
Really?
it won't matter. It was a PS Plus game of June.
Okay, but I thought PS Plus games stayed once
No.
you.
Well, if you've
What?
downloaded it, yeah.
So then, yeah.
So it wasn't free on PS4, but if anyone's listening to this now and then they get interested in Operation Tango, they can't go get it for free, so it doesn't
well,
matter.
sure, but if you already had downloaded it, hadn't played it yet,
Why are you listening to this episode?
because you're interested in seeing if it's something you should play at all, if you should waste your time with it.
Right. No, yeah, you're right. You're not wrong.
Thank you. I know I'm right.
What's this game like? What is this game?
Well, it's a classic James Bond situation, right? Like I'm
more
James
Mission
Bond, you're
Impossible.
Q.
No,
Okay, all
Q
right.
just I don't really like
You're
James
right.
Bond.
Q's not really
Q just
involved.
makes gadgets.
Once
right?
he gives them all the like. Okay, do you know what show I loved? Totally Spies. This is like Totally Spies.
Is it really?
I love Totally Spies, and my favorite part was when they went down to like I don't know what his name was, but it was essentially like Q, and he gave them their gadgets, and it was all like it's a compact makeup mirror. but it can reflect lasers. Or it's a lipstick, but it's also a laser, usually a laser. Anyway, that's a great show. It's a classic.
A lot of
A
lasers
lot of lasers.
and
In this game
a
too, there
lot of
were some
lasers.
lasers. So it's I ended up playing the agent and you were the hacker, I think is what it referred to you as, right?
Yep.
And
So yeah,
essentially you each pick one and you have totally different screens and then you help each other out using your environment. I don't know what you saw at all and you don't know what I
I
saw.
basically we played in separate rooms over Discord, so we couldn't see each other's screens.
Right. And I was essentially running through buildings. And what were you looking at
I was
most? Like
looking
I
at
was in the real world.
think like cyber future computer screen. Like it wasn't what a real computer screen looks like, but I was navigating files and menus. It kind of like I don't know, almost like Minority Report, but
Was
you
it
didn't
fun?
remember. It was fun.
Okay. I really liked my
I think it
my
would have been
my
more
play.
fun with a mouse and keyboard because
Yeah, that's true.
navigating menus with a controller is not fun, you know?
That would have been fun. I wonder if they could develop a situation where you can play that side on the
It might
computer.
be crossplay. We didn't actually we should probably start
So it was
remembering
on
to look that up.
PC.
Yeah.
That we should. I mean, we didn't really know much about the game at the beginning anyway.
I think a lot of people don't. Although probably being free on PlayStation Plus at launch really helped, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Like, got people to try it.
We beat this game by the way. There
Yeah.
were 6 missions
6 missions. We played over 3 sessions.
and each one took about maybe
Hour
30
and a half?
minutes to an hour.
Okay.
The last 2 were a little longer, I would
Yeah,
say. But
but-
I think, like a good game session for each. You could do like 1 mission a night and be okay with that. We did like 2.
Games that were the right length, I think this goes on it. I wanted more at the end,
I
but I
wanted
was
more.
fine that we didn't have more.
Yeah, I feel like which is always I think the best way to do it as a game dev, you want to keep them wanting more.
Right.
Cuz like now I kind of want to check back and see if they add more missions. I would really like to play more of this game.
Yeah. So, and I wrote down as my fake genre name is a 2-player espionage hacking simulator.
Yeah,
Right?
that's
It's
that
basically a
sounds
simulator of that classic trope.
And
of,
it's fun.
I'm in. Okay, I need you to lift the gate.
So was
Lifting
there
the gate.
not a recent game that was released co-op that was also very much like this?
I believe Hack Tag is similar,
There
but I'm not
I think was
fully-
even another one.
There
I
might
can't remember
maybe
what
be.
it was.
And
it was top down, I believe.
I think that's Hack Tag
Okay, maybe yeah. Anyway,
or Hacknet. I think it's Hack Tag.
I had really been interested in playing something like this though. But I like this. This was
Yeah.
3D like FPS.
Yeah, and so for me it was just a screen. I didn't have like I wasn't a person.
I see.
And so the co-op category, it's basically keep talking and no one explodes,
Mhm.
except more. It's both more and less.
Well, what's the co-op category for that is
It's either teamworking or crew crows.
I'm
It's
sorry?
either teamworking or crew roles. I actually wasn't totally sure. I don't know. Did we have categories when we did keep talking? So teamworking, we sort of say is the one where you have to work together, which is this.
Yes, right.
However, our example is usually overcooked and moving out.
Okay, I would say this is crew roles actually,
So I think
specifically
it's
because you
yeah.
have a very different role.
Yes. Yeah.
So crew role game.
Yeah.
Which are pretty rare. I feel like we very
and are my favorite type
yeah.
generally.
I think generally was oh my god, what is the name of the game? The Love in a Space-Time Continuum game.
Yeah. Lovers in a Dangerous Space-Time, Sea of Thieves.
Love in a Dangerous Space-Time. That was a cruel game I loved. So I feel like yeah, this is Cruels and it's cool for that reason, but it's only by the way 2 people co-op in in comparison to Sea of Thieves and Love in a Dangerous Space-Time which has 3 to 4 or 2 to 4.
Right. And this is only 2-player.
Yeah,
like, I don't
and
think
it's
there's
only
a way
co-op, right? I think
Yeah.
that you can do it single player, can't you?
I don't see how you could. What would the person be doing? The game is
I think that they have that.
the game
mode.
is communicating.
One sec. I need my phone. Oh, maybe it is co-op only. No solo. Okay, you're right. What I feel like we played a recent game. Maybe it was It Takes Two or something where you could be solo and it felt weird to me.
It wasn't It Takes Two either, I think, because that
Damn. I
tells
don't
you
know.
gotta have a friend online.
Whatever. Anyway, but keep going.
So let's talk about the factors and what the factors are. Help us kind of move along a conversation and analyze each game that we play. And if you want to follow along with us, head over to savestogether.club and click on the co-op factors link there, and you'll sort of see a description of what the heck we're talking about. So first, type of co-op. Couch, online, split, same.
So you have to be online.
Yeah.
That's the only way to play.
And I think if you're going to do it, you should be in separate rooms. I don't think you should look at each other's screen.
Well, definitely not. Yeah, that would defeat the purpose of the game for sure.
Right.
I mean, yeah, I guess you could do that.
Well,
but that
because in
would
the
be...
future, I want to be a two TV living room. You know, I really do want to do that. But you wouldn't be able to do this because I could just see the guy
Oh
that you're
yeah,
trying
that's
to
interesting.
describe.
How would people? Because we've seen those setups before. I wonder how people have dealt with that if they played this game or games
Maybe
like this.
you
I
do
mean,
the
this is
thing where
a
you
unique game.
you tape a blanket between the
I was gonna
screens
say,
and
could you like install a
a
curtain or
screen, yeah.
something? I don't know. Anyway, you wouldn't even have to have it go all the way if it was just kind of there, so like you really can't see the periphery. It might work. Anyway, this
If you're
is
sitting real close to your TV.
unnecessary. Yeah,
No,
that's
very
true.
important. They need to know what to do if they're going to play. Separate mode or full?
Full game.
Yep, like we said, you have to play 2 players.
Yeah.
And you play through the whole campaign.
You can switch, by the way, between agent and hacker between each mission. We just did not switch. And
So
I think that was fine
effectively, you can only play this game twice, or like
for
once
it to
every
be a
5
different
years. Yeah.
experience, right?
The only other way we could go back and play this right now would be if I played the agent, you played the hacker.
Yeah, if
And the
we wanted.
puzzles would be all the same puzzles. Probably they have different values, I assume. Things
Yeah.
like the lock code or whatever.
Yeah, I wonder if they randomize it a bit. I'm sure they do.
They must. They have to, I feel like. Control scheme. How are we controlling this thing?
Good old PS5 controllers.
PS4 controller for me. I don't like that PS4 controller. Like
The
it
gold
was,
one?
well, no, just like the controller. The color doesn't
Oh.
matter. I think I'm just so used now to the PS5 and Xbox being a lot more similar
Mhm.
feeling that going back to the weird, like, I don't know. It's not bad. It's not terrible,
Right.
but it's just goofy.
Just a goofy little guy.
Like, why has it got to have such like bulbous bulbs? You know,
You know, don't shame him.
progression, things to unlock.
Just more missions.
Yeah,
So we're not
pretty much
unlocking
nothing.
levels or nothing like that, and you don't really need it. I feel like it's very much what it is. It's an experience by itself, you
Yeah,
know.
the game is an experience piece, and you have fun playing it. That's it.
I mean, to be fair, that should be all games, but yes.
Well, but like, there's some games that I play because I want to get all the collectibles. Or
Yeah,
like,
no, I know what you're saying.
I'm just saying, yeah,
This is not about collecting things in
Yeah.
any way.
and we should say, I guess it's $20 currently, right? Or it is on the PlayStation
Oh, really?
Store.
That's the right price for
Yeah,
this game. I thought actually it would be more expensive, and I still would have paid. I think it could be $30 and worth paying for, but I think 20's
I think it's a good price.
good because it's, you know, it's not a very long game, and you know how people get really up in arms about that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I think this is absolutely worth $20.
And you could split it if you had a friend.
True,
You could just
because
10-10.
your friend doesn't need to have it, which I think is amazing, and more, especially if it's co-op only games should do this. But you know, like It Takes Two and A Way Out had this feature, and I think that's great.
Yeah, if you make a co-op only game and don't do that, I feel like you've made a mistake.
It's probably harder, especially to get new players in that way.
Right. Because there's times where a game should be co-op, like a Monster Hunter or a Sea of Thieves.
I was gonna say Monster Hunter could have benefited from that, but I feel like their fan base is so large they don't even need that anymore.
But you can play solo, so
That's true, and you can also play online with randos. I feel like this is not really something you'd want to play with a random person.
I think you could, though. I think
Could
it does
you?
have an online mode. I can't verify. I guess we should have looked that up,
I'll look it
but
up
I think
now.
you can. And while you're looking that up, I'm going to talk about shared loot or XP along the same lines as progression. Nothing.
So
Not a
I
single.
think Operation Tango, you do like have to have a friend.
You can't just matchmake with a random over voice chat.
I mean, right? I think you just need here, wait.
Whatever.
This says, can you play with a random person? It has to be someone from your friends list. So
Oh.
essentially, if
All right,
you
so you'd have to make a. You'd
have to have a friend.
Yeah, you could probably find a group of people that are willing to play, but you have to do a lot more work.
I do think it makes, well, one person that wants to play, by the way, because it's a 2-player game.
Right.
But I do think it makes more sense for it to be someone you know, because it's like you said, it's 100% a communication game.
Yeah, it's purely that's
I mean,
it.
not purely, but it is mostly that.
Right. But I feel like, yeah, communicating with a stranger, some of this stuff. So we talked about keep talking and nobody explodes,
Yeah.
and I was saying this is more and less intense. It's more intense because you can walk around and there's more to do. It's less intense because I feel like the puzzles are far less hard.
I thought it was less intense because I
Yeah.
felt less of first of all, there's no time limit most of the time. There's a couple places where it's like you have to stop the train from crashing before the time runs out. But I didn't feel as rushed as I do in Keep Talking.
Keep Talking, we almost never win. Operation Tango, we win a lot. We
Yeah,
beat it.
and I
So,
think that's fine.
oh yeah,
I
and
did
that's
not
not a
need it to
knock.
be harder.
I really wouldn't want it to be.
Yeah.
It was that right level that you like to talk about with puzzles where
Mhm.
made me feel smart, but I did it and it wasn't a chore.
Right, totally.
Friendly fire,
I mean,
no.
no.
That's like not even, I don't think, I can like close a door on you or something, but that's
Right.
not gonna, I don't think there's any real,
You're only really hurting yourself too because we just had to
it's
end the
like, oh,
level.
great, we get to do it again. Thanks.
Right.
Yeah. Interruptive action, none really.
No, no, not as far as,
Nothing,
like, the way we talk about it
yeah.
usually.
Interruptive actions to us is like the screen warps you back to the middle if you get too far away from each other, things like that.
Mhm.
Nothing like that. Difficulty of the co-op. So we sort of just touched on this a second ago, but how do you feel about the difficulty of this?
Mm.
I think it's great. I think it's perfect because
Yeah, it's really good.
nothing was
It's
so
funny
hard that I
because
don't want to do it.
we definitely had moments of frustration, but it was kind of in a funny way, like,
I would
there
say we didn't have any that really led to, like, we're open about that fact that sometimes we get too angry with each other. Not angry, but it's like, I can't, how
It's
do
funny
you,
because I think you seem to struggle with the fact that you couldn't I mean, first of all, it's all about communication, so if you can't communicate what you're seeing properly, then like, you're not gonna win the puzzle or win the game. So it's really interesting because it did feel like sometimes you got really frustrated by trying to figure out how to communicate what you were seeing in a, like, a helpful way.
do you have examples?
I was just trying to think. Like, for example, the one where you're on the tiled floor, to me, it's what it looked like, and I have to make your path so you don't touch stuff. I
And when I
never
say
really
up,
understood what that
we're
looked
okay.
like.
So yeah, let's talk. It
And you were
looked
like,
like
"Go left, go right," but it's to me, it's not left and right, so it's kind it became
the
confusing.
one where you are making my floor.
Yeah,
Okay, so
right.
basically, I'm standing on a platform, and then there's a pit, and you have to make the bridge across the pit.
I just wanna say, you never communicated this to me during the game. This is the first time I'm learning this.
We
So
had shit
that's
to do,
my
man. We were
point.
busy. We had to hack.
I also
So
there's
hold on,
this
wait. Did
what?
I have an arrow? Could you see the direction I was looking?
No, no, I couldn't.
Mm, that would have helped.
We're just now talking about this now, it's very funny. Wait, there's also this hilarious moment where and this was on me this time. I had to run through, like, a hotel rooms, like, through opening doors and not get caught by the drones, and you essentially could see where the drones were and whether they were gonna see me or not, and what door they were by. But I didn't it took me a while to figure out that when I stood in a certain place by the door, it opened the door and, like, exposed me, and like, I died, like, a million times, and it was just really funny that I finally figured it out, and I didn't wanna admit it, and I was just like I just like, "Oh, I got it this time, don't worry." Like, for a long time, I thought you were opening the doors for me, but it was me standing in, like, the certain place next to the door that opened it.
Well, it's good that you could admit your faults.
Of course.
I personally
Um
don't think I had any. I
Of
think
course,
I did
yeah, yeah, you were
about the best you
perfect.
could do.
You were perfect. So, what were we talking about? Difficulty? Yeah, I mean, it's hard to talk about difficulty when the whole game is, like, based around it, but I think it's a good difficulty because it was like you
Well,
said, it
none of
was
the
never
puzzles
too
were,
hard.
yeah, none of the puzzles were like, you know what? There was a hard one for me where you control the left and right axis, and I control the up and down
Oh,
axis
that one, yeah, you had a
going through
really
things,
hard
and I
time with
really
that
couldn't
one.
do it because it was,
That one
not
was
having
fun for
total
me.
control. But we got through it, so this is why I think it was perfect difficulty.
Now
It maybe took us
yeah,
actually 20 tries to get that done,
but it was
but
really quick.
it was quick resetting,
Yeah.
and
Checkpoints are very
I
good, I
didn't
would
get
say.
like, I was angry, not angry. I keep saying angry, but I'm never angry about this. But like, I was frustrated at the time doing it,
Uh-huh.
but then
Do you know what's
we
interesting
beat
is,
it and
like,
we moved on, and it was fine.
personality-wise, I feel like I'm more into, like, being in control, but for some reason with games, I feel like our personalities kinda switch. because all of a sudden I can let go of the fact that I'm not left and right. All I think is like I'm up and down, and it
My
works
brain
for
don't
me.
work, dude. I'm
And
like,
and you're like, no, I must control
well,
all.
because you'll go left when I would never have gone left. In my brain, I'm like, why would you go left?
But
And
it's
you might
just
be right.
so.
I'm not saying that I'm right. I'm
I'm
just
just saying
saying
it's
my brain is
funny
like,
to
wait,
me.
what? I was supposed to go down, but we wouldn't have if we had gone right. Well, it
I'm
doesn't
just
matter. We didn't
interested
go
in
right.
the idea that like
Yeah.
while playing video games, your personality can. It's not that it changes, but like for some reason, it's like the opposite. I don't know
It
why.
happens a lot with us
It does
where we
like
switch.
where I
Or the planning
become.
thing. It's really the biggest example is the planning thing. I
Yeah.
like games that pause and I can come up with a strategy 5 turns in advance.
Right, and then I don't do that, and it's like in real life, I'm the one who's like, "Here's what we're doing in 6 weekends."
Right.
It's very strange, like, I wonder if anyone's thought about this psychologically, like, why does this happen? I mean, I do know, like, having ADHD, games are, like, the perfect thing for me because they fulfill, like, all the things necessary to make it, like, interesting, so I don't know if that has anything to do with it, so, like, I'm in the perfect brain mode, so I can operate differently. I don't
I
know.
think for me it's a logic thing.
Like, essentially
In
what
real
I
life,
yeah.
planning my dinner for 3 weeks is not logically important. It's
I
useful
don't
and I
do that,
understand
by
why
the
you do
way.
it.
I don't do that, by the way.
Well, you
I
can
don't plan
tell
my
them
dinner
that.
3 weeks ahead of time. I guess maybe what I think is because I don't have to cope like I do in real life, I plan to cope with, like,
Sure.
my neurosis. So I think that because in a game, I don't have to cope anymore because it fulfills everything it needs to, I turn into, like, a different person.
Right, and for me, I'm like, well, it does not make sense. The rules of the game state this, 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 and to me, it makes no sense to do this, so why would we? Right? Like I like to think through that.
Well, I definitely think, yeah,
Like
you're a little bit of, a micromanager when it comes to how other people play games.
I'm not well, we weren't talking about that. This is the episode where you just subtly dig
You
at me,
just
huh?
said you just said, "Why would she go left and right at that point?"
No,
Is
no,
that
no.
not,
I wasn't saying I didn't mean that
judgmental to you?
to mean that you did wrong. I was like, not that you did anything wrong. My brain, I was trying to explain, like, my brain is ready to go left up,
Mhm,
but
I
we
see what you're
just went
saying.
right up. And it's like, but my brain was ready for left up. Oh
Really,
God, now I gotta compensate.
the game got you when it was trying to get you.
Yeah, it worked, but here we are talking about it. I think it was a pretty good one.
Yeah, like you said, difficulty-wise, everything, even when it was challenging, it never got challenging to the point of like, "Fuck this."
Right.
Never did. So that's great.
Intensity of the difficulty. Intensity of the game, which usually coincides with difficulty.
I thought it was pretty a good medium
Medium.
intensity. It's not chill, but it's not like, "Oh, I feel like really stressed out," like Monster Hunter is very intense. Like it's more like, "This is nice. This is fun. I really looked forward to playing this game."
And
But
it
you had
was
to be like paying attention.
yeah. And it was nice to have the missions be relatively short or
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
right length, about 10, 20 minutes.
Good stopping points are always great in games,
Yep.
especially co-op games.
Competitiveness of the co-op,
No, I don't
that's a
think it was
0%
competitive.
on that scale, I think.
Yeah, you're 1,000% for the team, because
Yeah.
obviously that's the only way we make it through.
Strategy or tactics?
Not really. I mean, the
No.
game is kind of about tactics in
So
certain ways. Like
so the
the
next
hotel
factor
running room, I think is a good example because you'd be like, okay, what you're gonna do is when I say go, you're gonna run through all this room, that room, and then throw the bomb. So
so
that's kind of a tactic.
our next factor is communication, and I think that's purely still communication.
Wait,
Mostly.
what? What does that have to do with what I just said?
Like to me, strategy and tactics is like I think a cool game, and this is fantasy game, this is not what this game is, would be if we had to plan the route through the room and it wasn't like there's only one route. There was only one way for you to go. Maybe that wasn't clear to you
I mean,
in
that's
the
still a
world,
strategy, though. Even if there's only one strategy, is that not a strategy?
but to me that's just like saying that going in a straight line you planned, well, I'm going to plan to go straight. Well, yeah, cuz you have to.
But I still think, you know,
I'm not s- I
normally
get this is
because
semantics, I guess.
a little bit, but because there's stress on the straight line, there's things you have to avoid or like you have to think about what you have to do before you do it. That's where the strategy comes in. Whereas
Pretty
if you're
much just
really
the
walking in
door
a straight
room,
line, you don't
that
have to do
door
that.
opening door puzzle and the drones in the hotel room puzzle are the only times that I felt there was really strategy,
Yeah.
tactic discussion.
So not a
So
lot, I would
very
say.
little. But
Yeah.
communication, which is the last factor here, tons of it. Like that's the whole game, like we've said.
Yeah, it's all about
So
figuring out how to communicate properly what you need. And it's
quickly
interesting
on
because
the
at the
fly,
beginning of
accurately.
like missions or beginning of a puzzle, I think the game did a really good job at like teaching you how to figure out what you need without telling you. It was not holding your hand, but it would just put you in this room. It's like, okay, figure out how to open the safe. And you need to go through the clues at the computer and cross-reference it with his clues. And I thought it was really
Yeah.
cool because it never was like, first do this, then do this. It was like, okay, we have to figure out what information do you have? What information do I have? I really liked that. It was really like stimulating and fun to do that. And it felt like it wasn't trying to like push you in any direction.
Right.
So it was like very good puzzles.
To me, those were the best ones.
Yeah.
There's a couple where like I'm flying through cyberspace, dodging stuff and going left and right, and you're telling me when to go. And
Yeah, that was one of the weakest ones.
those are like fake cyber internet crap that movies and stuff do that I don't think is interesting because that's not how hacking or anything works.
Yeah, I thought it
Whereas,
was most interesting when you were helping me get through a physical space,
yeah,
or we were trying to figure out like information together, sort of like I mean, this had like escape room vibes in that way,
yes,
you
yes,
know?
yes.
And that's really fun because an escape room is a perfect example of like something where it's all about communicating. And I mean, this had more, obviously, an escape room's not a cruel game technically, it's more like a team worker game, but
Well, at the
I bet you
beginning, we
could make an
decided this
escape room
is
that's like
crew
that.
roles mostly.
No, I know. I'm saying an escape room's
Oh,
not.
yeah, 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 right.
So I think it's interesting because I wonder if you could design a real life escape room like this. Like, could you
Yeah,
have an
no, I mean,
escape room
duh,
where
you just
someone's,
lock two people in two separate rooms, and one can see what they're doing, and one has the lights off or something.
or two separate rooms where you have different information and you have, wait, this is like We Were Here, which I don't think we did an episode on, but this was an escape room
We
game we played
didn't do
on
an episode.
Steam.
I forgot about that game, and we
Yeah,
planned to do an episode. Maybe we still will.
I think we should.
This
This was a lot like that.
is almost exactly the same, except
Less
there's some
scary.
differences. But I didn't like We Were Here as much as I liked
Me
Operation Tango.
neither. Literally, part of it for me is because I was scared. I'm just gonna be honest. Like this game, I liked because first of all, when I went into this game, I thought it was gonna be more scary. I thought I was gonna be chased, and so I don't like being chased in games. Okay, I'm very much fraidy cat when it comes to video games only, and
Oh
so
yeah,
that
you love
didn't
being
happen.
chased in real life. Chase her anywhere though.
I like horror movies and horror
I see
books.
what you're saying. Okay.
But what I was trying to no, I don't like being chased in real life.
You see her on the street, run after her. She loves it.
Um, so I guess I thought there would be more of that, and I was really glad it was just kind of fighting with robots, if anything. I mean, there was moments where there's people, but I didn't feel like attacked, so that was good.
Yeah.
And We Were Here, it was really just creepy, and I felt scared and alone, and I it was part of the reason I didn't like it.
Now, something We Were Here had that I wished this one had was
Yeah,
fake radio.
that was really cool. I think that was the best part is we really had to like
You
go
had to
like 10-4.
over,
Yeah.
like, you
I
had
mean,
to press
we
a button
should
to
probably
talk.
revisit those games eventually
Yeah,
because
I
there's
want
more
to.
than one.
I
Um,
wasn't done with them. We just, I don't know.
I couldn't get past that last puzzle because there was a
It
really
was,
scary
harder.
ghost.
That game was harder. There was that whole chess puzzle
It
that
was
was
harder.
like, wow,
Like
this is not fun difficult.
it was a
Whereas this
level
one
up
was, yeah.
difficult. I thought sometimes it was interesting, but like it was really stressful because there's moments you're about to drown, or there's literally a fucking ghost in the theater. I couldn't stand that. That was so scary. Every time I looked behind me, it would be closer. I couldn't. Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm scared just thinking about it. This is
And
why I
you're
could
the one
never.
who's played Phantasmagoria. It's so weird.
Phantasmagoria, but I was with people. I would just stay by my friends. I wouldn't be alone.
I see.
When I was alone, it's different.
I
All
think
right.
a combination between this is not a knock on this game, but a combination between Phantasmagoria and Operation Tango would be so cool.
Whoa, like a
Like
ghost
not
version
no
of
no no
this?
not ghosts, spies with an open world that choose the tools to go get. I stay back in the truck or I snipe
I
or
see,
something.
I see.
So like it doesn't have to be a scary thing, but it's about
So less
planning the
like
tools,
linear, you're
less
saying.
linear.
Yeah,
This was a very linear,
experience.
experience.
They definitely could do that. I think it would be interesting. Like maybe you even choose what you're doing in a certain location. So a location has a safe, or it has some information, or it has this, and there's a couple floors, and you're like,
And
okay, what should we do?
and
And
maybe
see how
there's
much
a
you can
couple of
get.
ways to get the information. Like
Yeah, right.
you, as the agent, could knock a guy out and drag his eyeball over to the eye scanner.
And like Phasmagoria, you'd have tools that you unlock with
Yeah.
points after you leveled up. That would be really cool.
Yeah,
That's a
'cause
good idea.
the horror aesthetic is fine. Ghost chasing, ghost hunting is awesome. That's a cool thing, but I would be more interested in
Totally.
this.
Me too.
This is the Mission Impossible game I want to play.
Yeah.
So do you have any final thoughts to wrap this up before we
I
grade?
think I think my big final thought was just I really liked how the puzzles were set. But like I said, you might come into this and be like, "Oh, too easy, you guys are dumb." Yeah, I'm dumb, okay? I'm just gonna admit it to you now. I can't play Professor Layton, all right? That's a good example of where I just meet the line. I can't do it. I'm never gonna play Professor Layton, you can't make me. This was a good game though. I really enjoyed it. I would play more missions if they release them, and I hope they do.
I hope there's more missions or a sequel, and if it's if I can get it on my radar, it'll stay there. I'm excited to see what's maybe next from Clever Plays.
It does make me interested in playing like Hack Tag, more hacker games, and We Were Here, like going back to maybe the second one. Maybe there'll be less ghosts. I don't know, but I don't think I can ever get back in that theater again. So we're just gonna have to call it.
That was the end, right? That was the end of the game.
Very close to the end. I would say we just move on and
it was
talk
also
about that
not
one
even
in another episode.
Yeah, that's true. I feel like
we played most of it.
It wasn't even that the ghost was there. I mean, that was clearly your problem, but the puzzle also the puzzle also didn't make any sense. It made sense, but it wasn't fun. That's
it was a little bit. It was a little too hard,
Yeah.
and by hard it
So we're not here to talk about We Were Here.
Yeah.
We're here to talk about Operation Tango.
I'm
and give
just
it a
saying,
score.
it's so fascinating to me, the idea of how to develop a puzzle game that is difficult. You feel like you're being challenged, but it's not so hard that you're frustrated and you give up. And I think about the game, is it The Witness?
Mm-hmm.
So I never played this game, but I watched it be played a little bit, and I thought that game was super interesting. And because first of all, it's an open world puzzle game, and so you don't have to solve all the puzzles, so it feels more like a choose your own adventure of how hard do you want it to get. Because some of that shit is like, there's no way I'd ever figure that out. But some of it's like, oh yeah, that's fun. So I don't know. I guess what I'm trying to say is like, I don't think all puzzle games need to be super easy, but I think it's interesting on how you make it just the right amount of difficulty that not everyone's going to be pleased.
Really
right?
hard, and the line moves depending on who's playing it.
I just get confused why people would go into a puzzle game and be like, "This is too easy." Do people really feel like that?
Yeah, there's games where it's like, why did I even do that? That was like nothing. That was like so
I guess
obvious.
I must be literally brain dead because I don't think I've ever played a game where I thought it was too easy, and if I did, I was like, I had fun.
Pokemon dungeon puzzles.
What's a Pokemon dungeon?
Like,
There's no Pokemon dungeon
gym.
puzzle.
Sometimes the gym puzzle is like, walk here and don't step on this space.
Okay. That is a good example. That is a good example. I agree. I would have just preferred in Pokemon gyms to go
just
straight
let me go
through.
straight forward. I don't need to do this.
All right, fine. But I feel like that's truly the baby of baby puzzles, right?
Yeah, but still. But then the ice ones, where you slide, the sliding puzzles.
Okay, but those
I
just
love
piss
those.
me off. No,
really? Those are fun for me.
They just piss me off because it's like, oh, another one of these fucking sliding puzzles. No, sometimes it's fun. Sometimes I'm just like, why? Anyway, puzzle games I find really fascinating because, okay, for instance, I played the Sexy Brutale recently. I think I talked about it after I played it. I really enjoyed it. It was an easy puzzle game, but in a way that like I thought was fun because it was more of an adventure puzzle where the puzzle is figuring it out, and once you figure it out, you also have to execute it, which is part of the game. But when I looked at a lot of reviews and people were just like, too easy, not fun. It's like, but it's not just about the puzzle, it's also about the story and the characters and the execution of what you're doing. So I don't know. I just don't feel like that's like always a valid critique.
Right.
So I have a lot to say about puzzle games, I guess. I like puzzle games. I just want them to be easier for me because I'm stupid. Please. Thank you. That's my wish. I'm not that stupid. I just want to say, in real life, I'm not stupid, right?
That sounds like something a stupid person would say.
It's not nice.
So the ultimate puzzle. What do we score this thing? I'm curious what you have to say. I think
I'm thinking. It's at least an S.
Oh.
And I was trying to think if it was above that or not. I would give it. So what is it? A S S S S S S, right? So for me, like an S means like there's nothing wrong with it. Play this co-op game. I feel that way about this game.
I wrote down A+, but I'm not sold on that. You might be right.
Yeah, I think this is just an S. I don't think I need to go into higher tiers than that.
Yeah. So for me, I'm probably gonna forget about this game unless I write it down.
I don't think that means it's not high level though. But maybe
correct.
It is.
That's why it's an S.
Yeah.
It's above an A. It's special.
I guess I didn't think about that though.
But it's I don't know. I'm gonna forget this game exists.
Right, because we never forget that Divinity exists.
I'm never gonna forget Divinity exists. I mean, that to be fair was a triple S, right?
Right. So maybe that when you go up, that's like had an emotional / like forever effect on me.
Experience.
I guess for me, S is just like I can't think of any issues.
It's better than I'm okay with S because, like I said, I did A+. That's seems about right.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. We'll go with S.
It's an S.
It's an S.
No, it's not an S. That's a triple S.
Oh, okay.
It's not even an S.
It's just S.
That's a double S. It's
S.
S. S. It's got an S. Operation Tango S.
Yeah, I hope they come out with more missions. I'll play more. Well, I don't know if I'd buy more. If there was like a pack of 5 for $10, I would do that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to try to put a value on it because
I'm
I'll
giving them
probably pay
ideas.
whatever.
Yeah, that was good.
But I do want to do more. So
There you go. And we played it for free also.
that's true. Yeah, we didn't even. Well, they
No,
probably.
that's not
I
true.
don't know how the
Remember,
deals
I had
work.
to buy PS Plus because I wanted to play it on PS5.
Right, and then they got the record of the fact that you played it. So, like, I don't really know how that and Game Pass works. Every
Mhm.
time you play it, does it give the developer 2 pennies? I don't know.
I wonder.
Yeah.
I would think something happens for them.
I believe something leaked recently, and it was either PlayStation or Xbox's numbers on that and how varied the deals are. Like, because no one saw these numbers before, but then something either leaked or they were in a court case. I think it might have been a Sony court case or
Oh,
something.
really?
Or the Xbox Apple. It was the Xbox
I
Apple.
was gonna say it probably
Yep.
was the Xbox Apple
And
thing.
it was revealed like how some games that you would think would be more popular and better than others were getting less money. So clearly the deals were not, it wasn't an
That doesn't
open,
surprise me,
fair thing.
honestly.
It was whatever deal that they agreed to.
Such is life.
Yeah. Anyways, I think we should head over to the closing segment and wrap it up.
Let's do it.
Buried Treasure Indie Game Highlight of the Week of the Month. Grace, this is where you tell me about a co-op game that's indie or lesser known, or we're just maybe not going to play, maybe, but it might be interesting to someone taking a listen to the episode.
So
So what do you got for me this week?
this game came out a couple days ago. It's called Trigger Witch. Oh my god. It's a little bit of a tongue twister I just found out
Trigger
this
Witch.
very moment. Trigger Witch.
Trigger Witch.
It's because it ends in an R. Trigger Witch, Trigger Witch, Trigger
Trigger
Witch,
Witch.
Trigger Witch, Trigger Witch.
Irwin is fine to say, but Trigger Witch is harder to say.
Trigger Witch.
Trigger Witch.
Trigger space witch.
I'm going to say Trigger Witch. Trigger Witch.
Trigger Witch.
Trigger Witch.
It came out for PS4 and subsequently PS5, Xbox, and Nintendo Switch. Developed by Rainbite. And it's a top-down twin-stick shooter. Now, don't turn this off yet, because you're a witch with a gun. I mean, does it get better than that? It's co-op, local co-op.
But is it like bullet hell? This is the thing. I was
It
surprised.
looks a lot like Link to the Past, which is what it got me.
Okay.
Which brought me into its like cute little art style.
I mean, I really love
it
Smash
does not
TV.
seem like bullet hell in any way.
Okay, so I might be able to get into this.
And it's got some puzzle elements. So, like, you're maybe using your flamethrower to melt some ice cubes in the way of a cave. So it's got both, like, some puzzle and action. And there's, like, yeah, there are a lot of enemies, but you are just spraying them down with guns. And I like the concept. It's very, like, cute and funny.
Did you ever play Enter the Gungeon?
No, but I'm interested. I'd play that. I heard it was good.
It was fine.
So yeah, that's Trigger Witch, and it's co-op. So check it out if you're interested in that. Watch a little trailer, see what you think.
Do they have a Twitter page or anything?
At Rainbite. That's the company that developed it.
Trigger Witch.
Trigger Witch.
All right, now it's time for the part where I ask you to tell me where we can tell them where to find us on the internet.
We have a website at savestogether.club where you can find links to our social media and our episodes and a list of our co-op factors, as we mentioned earlier.
And check this out. We were talking about Twitter today. And we were like, it's kind of weird that our Twitter is both of us, but also
and a brand.
We're not a big enough brand in quotes to like who cares, right?
Well, I don't like when brands tweet at me.
Yeah.
And so, I'm the one that uses Twitter.
I don't even use Twitter.
So
basically the Saves Together Twitter is still going to stay at Saves Together, but it's basically going to be Grace's space to talk about games and talk about co-op stuff. And like maybe if I want her to post something like, hey, check this game out, let's post a picture. She can say, Craig found this game in the whatever.
And I'll still be, announcing when we have our new episodes on there and everything. So
it'll still be useful to follow for Saves Together news, but it won't just be this weird gelatinous cube of both of us. Mm-hmm. Right? It's Grace. It's her personality. It's her thing.
Which it basically already was, but now it's now it's official. I've already changed the description. So there you go. If you're interested,
check it out at Saves Together on Twitter.
I'm gonna tweet about games there. I've been tweeting about games.
Talk about games. You can talk about general geekery there too. Like
like what? Like stamps.
Books, stamps.
No, I talk about books on my normal Twitter because I'm already, a booker.
Well, I'm just saying, if there's a co-op book that you like, does that
Okay.
exist?
I
What if there was a book
mean,
where you had book 1, I had book 2, but you have page 1, I have page 2. You have
we could
page
just
3, I have
trade
page 4.
a choose your own adventure back and forth.
I've done that. It was pretty fun.
That sounds
Well,
fun to
I
me.
basically DM'd, I read the book, and then when we came to choices,
I mean, if you
2
think
people
about it,
discussed.
a Dungeons and Dragons and stuff like role playing
Right.
games are like co-op books because you're reading through an adventure, but it's a little more,
Well, way
choose your own situation.
Car Wars is like that. Car Wars is a game book. Like, it reads the story, but then you get to parts where you have to make
Un-
decisions based on dice and your stats and
You know
stuff.
what they have now that I think we should give a shot because I think this is something cool that people have been doing because of the pandemic and because of the interest in escape rooms rising but not able to go do those are these kits that you buy where you solve a case or a mystery together with your friends or with whoever or by yourself.
Wrapping up this whole episode in a nice little bow, Sherlock Holmes, B apartment,
Perfect for that, right?
221B Bakersfield, is a board game from like the 70s or maybe, I don't know, 80s. You're playing versus each other, but you're going around room to room like Clue. It looks a lot like Clue, but you're getting actual clues. You know how Clue, all you do is like deduct? You're just like
Yeah.
figuring out based on the fact that you haven't seen this card, it's got to be that. You get actual clues from a game book that's like, I haven't played in a very long time, but it's like rhymes with blue,
I will
you
say
know?
this is separate from what I was just talking about though.
Correct, but I'm just saying Sherlock Holmes game was my favorite board game. I played with my grandparents every single day
I
almost.
see.
So
Well,
this is
maybe
very interesting to me because I assume it will be similar.
yeah,
Gathering
yeah, yeah.
clues, putting clues together, figuring out word puzzles, things like that.
Yeah, yeah. No, we should definitely try it. Like you only play through it once. That's the difference, I guess, between a
Yeah.
board game. But it would be cool to do an episode on something like that because I see people on like TikTok and shit. They're like, "We got this thing and we did it, and it's cool." And you get all these like pieces of like paper and like like you said, like clues and stuff. So
We should do
we
it and
should
then
try
we
it.
should write everything down in notebooks and keep it pristine and then donate it or give it to a friend to,
Oh well, I don't know.
unless
I
it's
want
like
to
ripping
experience
open
the whole
envelopes.
thing. Let's see
But
what
that
it's
seems
like.
like a severe waste of, I don't know. That's my like, okay, great. We printed all
Jeez.
this paper to do one thing one time.
Well, yeah, that's life, man. Sometimes you
We
just
should,
buy an experience and that's that.
well, we'll see. We'll do an episode on it, and I'll tell you if I think
Okay.
it could have been far more
You know
recyclable.
what? Fair enough. I'll do some research and see if there's even maybe
Is there a
one that
good
feels a
one?
little more like you could
Because there's
give it
that,
away. Cuz
yeah.
actually I would enjoy giving it to somebody if we could afterwards.
Like,
So
there's
I'll
that
look
one
into
that
it.
I forget the name of that happens every week or month.
Oh,
I
like it's
don't,
a subscription, right?
yeah, I
I've
don't really
seen
want to
that.
do that.
No, no, no,
I
no, no.
want
I
a
wouldn't do that.
singular boxed
That's what I wanna
experience.
do. I saw them at Target too when we went. They were underneath the, something. But anyway, there was a couple of them. They were like case in a box or something. So I'm gonna look into
Yeah.
some that you can buy online that would be maybe a little more donatable. So that's what we'll end with, I guess, today.
We're just really into doing puzzles together
I
now.
know, I guess I really am to the Sherlock Holmes because I'm playing Ace Attorney too. It's
Right.
like
I just like deducting.
I'm writing down on my phone like everything that's happening. I'm like, okay, so this is going on because sometimes in the Ace Attorney game, they don't like put that in your court record. You have to remember that. And because I'm like the worst memory ever, I have to write it down, but it also makes it more fun because later on I'm in the court and I'm just like, all right, I got to review my notes. Let me see. Oh, I forgot about this. This must be important. I haven't really thought about it. So anyway, it's a good game, man. Any game where you have to write stuff down, I feel like that's fun.
I feel like this was an episode full of good games.
That's true. It was. It was an episode full of good games.
Thanks everybody for listening.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for playing games.
Thanks for playing games.
Games are great.
If you keep playing games, that means we get to keep playing games.
No,
Why not?
we could play
What if
games whether or
nobody
not
else
they
played
do.
games ever? No one would make games for just us.
Well, they should, damn it.
They should.
I'm important. All right. Bye.